The clock in her kitchen had been 5 minutes fast for 28 years. Not 6, not 10, exactly 5. She had moved its hands forward one September morning when her daughter was 7 and her son was 4. That morning, one child could not find a shoe. The other had suddenly remembered that he needed a cardboard box for school. The milk had boiled over, and the school bus had disappeared around the corner while she stood in the driveway holding 2 lunchboxes and a small blue sweater. That afternoon, she took the kitchen clock down from the wall and turned the little wheel at the back. 5 minutes forward. There, she thought. 5 minutes might save us. And in a way they did. When the clock said 7:30, it was only 7:25. When it said they were late, they still had time. Those 5 invisible minutes became her private reserve, her small emergency fund of time. She would call from the kitchen, "It's already 8," and the feet would begin moving upstairs. Cupboards would close, water would stop running, bags would be lifted from the floor. Her husband would finish his tea and reach for his keys. For several years, she was the only one who knew the clock was not telling the truth. Then, one morning, her daughter compared it with the watch on her wrist. "Mama, this clock is wrong." "No," she replied, "this clock is useful." And that was the end of the discussion. The clock watched all of them grow older. It watched school shoes become university shoes. It watched lunchboxes disappear and car keys multiply. It watched hurried breakfasts, burnt toasts, unfinished homework, birthday cakes, and telephone calls that changed the atmosphere of an entire day. 5 minutes fast, always. Eventually, everyone knew. Yet they continued looking at it. The clock frightened them first and comforted them second. "We still have 5 more minutes." Perhaps nobody asked her to correct it because they understood those 5 minutes belonged to her. They were part of the machinery by which she kept the family moving. She was always measuring something, how long the rice needed, how much time remained before guests arrived, how late the children could sleep without missing breakfast, how quickly she could shower while something simmered on the stove. She knew how to arrive before everyone else needed her. But somewhere along the way, she began living like the clock, always slightly ahead of herself. She ate before she had tasted the food. She stood up before she had finished resting. She prepared her answers while another person was still speaking. If the telephone rang, her body tightened. If a message arrived, she believed it required an immediate reply. If someone asked for something, the request seemed to carry an invisible deadline. Now, quickly, before they become disappointed. She apologized quickly too. Sometimes before deciding whether she had done anything wrong. "Sorry I couldn't come. Sorry I didn't call. Sorry I was tired. Sorry I needed time. Sorry I said no. Sorry I said sorry." Her apologies were always 5 minutes ahead of the accusation. Then the children grew up. Not suddenly, although it felt sudden afterwards. First, the school bags disappeared from the hallway. Then, fewer cups were left beside the sink. Bedroom doors remained open because there was nobody inside to close them. The mornings became quiet. Not peaceful at first, only quiet. There is a difference. Peace sits beside you. Quiet removes the noise and waits to see what remains. What remained was her and the clock, still 5 minutes fast. Nobody was running downstairs searching for a notebook. Nobody needed reminding about the dentist. Yet every morning, she looked at that clock and felt behind the day, behind other women her age, behind the life she thought she would have built by now, behind the women she might have become if she had chosen differently at 30, at 40, at 50. The clock said she was late, and because it had been saying so for 28 years, she believed it. One Tuesday afternoon, the battery began to weaken. The second hand climbed towards 12, trembled, and fell backward. It tried again, trembled, fell. The kitchen was unusually still. A cup of tea sat beside her. Outside, a branch moved against the window. She watched the second hand struggle for several minutes. Then she stood on a chair and lifted the clock from the wall. Behind it was a pale circle of wallpaper, untouched by all the years that had passed around it. She carried the clock to the table and removed the old battery. After inserting a new one, she placed the clock beside her phone. Then she turned the small wheel back 5 minutes. Correcting 28 years required less than one complete turn of her fingers. For the first time, the kitchen clock told the truth. She hung it back on the wall. Nothing dramatic happened. The room did not brighten. No music began. The tea had grown slightly cold. But when she looked at the clock, there was no longer any secret space between the life she was living and the time displayed above her. The clock said 3:15, and it was 3:15. Time was simply where she was. She sat down again. The old urgency told her to get up. There were towels in the dryer, a message she could answer, vegetables she could cut for dinner, but none of it was urgent. So she remained seated. The second hand moved around the clock, one true second at a time. She drank the rest of her tea slowly, and she began to understand. She had spent years making sure everyone else arrived on time. At school, at work, at airports, at appointments, at the important moments of their lives. She had prepared them, reminded them, and sometimes run behind them, carrying what they had forgotten. But somewhere in all that movement, she had begun believing that she herself was late. Late to choose differently. Late to begin again. Late to discover what she liked when nobody else required anything from her. But perhaps a woman could not be late for a life that still belonged to her. Perhaps there was no bus disappearing around the corner, no door about to close, no invisible judge checking when she finally arrived. That evening she did not prepare dinner until she was hungry. She warmed some lentils, cut one tomato, and placed bread on a plate. At exactly 6:42, she sat beside the window and ate. The clock moved above her. It did not warn her, it did not forgive her. It simply kept time. And for once, so did she. Not ahead of herself, not behind anyone else. Here. Perhaps beginning again does not mean turning the clock backward or recovering the years. Perhaps it means looking honestly at where you are and realizing that you have not missed your own life. You are still inside it. The clock had been 5 minutes fast for 28 years, but she was not late. She had only lived as though something important was always about to leave without her. Now, whenever she looked at the clock, it told her something simpler. This is the time, and this time is yours.